Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DiFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who has been making espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. They are the makers of some of the most beautiful and innovative espresso machines on the market today. And they've been doing this for almost 100 years, and they are a staple in the industry, a household name, if you will, because of the reputation they have for dependability and that beauty and innovation. Machines like the KB90 with the straight-in locking portafilters for ergonomics, machines like the Linea PB, which I love a lot, is got all of the style and classic profile of the Linea, but also the updated technology of today that allows baristas full control over extraction, anywhere from automatic to manual and everywhere in between. La Marzocco has a machine that fits your coffee shop perfectly, and I would really encourage you to reach out. LaMarzoccoUSA.com is where you can find out more information. And if you're going to the SCA show, the expo in Chicago, look up La Marzocco on the show floor to experience these machines for yourself and talk to their friendly staff. They are just an amazing team with awesome equipment meant to help you succeed in specialty coffee. So make a beeline for the La Marzocco booth at the SCA Expo in Chicago come April, and reach out to them directly too. info@LaMarzoccoUSA.com. Let them help you get outfitted with an amazing espresso machine for your coffee shop. Today's episode is also brought to you by Rattleware. Rattleware has been a staple in the industry for the things that you need for a coffee shop to run. Equipment that just works. So when we talk about equipment, we're talking about the kind of glass and steel smallwares that you kind of take for granted, but we just need them to work, because once a shot glass breaks or a pitcher is not aligned or something like that, you really get hampered as a barista, and you want something you can depend on all day long. And that is the mission of Rattleware. Simple smallwares that really just work. Go to Rattleware to learn more about their tampers, their pitchers, the whisks, the shot glasses, and more. Again, that's at rattleware.com. Okay, everyone. Well, today I'm actually coming to you on site at a client's cafe, and I'm out in Delaware, Ohio, which is a little north of Columbus, Ohio. And this is at Fresh Start Cafe and Bakery. They've been a client of mine for quite a long time, going through coaching and assessment round 1 last year. And today we are back. And after long-term coaching, Todd, the owner, has been in the Keyholder coaching group now for 2 seasons of the cohort. And I'm here to do another round of assessment, another level of refinement and training for the staff. And so I'm here in the office/closet area. So if you hear any cafe noise behind me, that's what you're hearing. It's a Sunday afternoon service in Delaware, Ohio, and it's busy and fun. So I wanted to get on here and talk to you today about seeking understanding and context, and wanting to talk about that because this is kind of the whole impetus behind consulting. Somebody would hire a consultant in order to gain understanding or in-depth insight into something that they currently might have some questions about, but they're just stuck. Because you're too close to the issue, you can't really see it as clearly as you want to. And someone like myself or others out there in the industry, our goal, at least our goal should be as coaches and consultants, to help you thrive in your unique situation and find solutions that are custom for your context. And this brings up a really interesting point for me, which is the idea that seeking understanding and clarity is not just something that you do when you hire a consultant. It's something that you do as a practice in your everyday life of the coffee shop that will yield similar results. Let's give you a scenario. Okay, somebody has done something in the cafe that you're not a fan of, and you have this reaction. It could be the way that they closed the cafe that night. It could be the way that they did or did not take inventory the way that you wanted them to. Whatever it is, there's always going to be what you idealize and have a standard for, and then what gets delivered. And if you're honest, you are also known to be less than exact to your own standards, even for yourself. Sometimes we have higher standards for other people following our ideals than we have for ourselves following our own ideals. And sometimes it's a case of trying to hold people accountable, but not willing to be accountable ourselves. But it's another topic for another day. Here's what I think I want to talk to you about, which is the idea of seeking to understand and withhold judgment and ask questions so that you can get to the root cause. Problems are blessings. Issues that come up in the cafe reveal truths. It's light being shed on different parts of your business that otherwise you would never have known. Now, it would have come up eventually, but it's coming up now. And it's always going to feel inconvenient. The inconvenience of problems rearing their ugly head in the coffee shop is not a proof that this is something that needs to be spurned by you. It's something you can embrace and actually discipline yourself. And I know this is easier said than done. And I'm still working on it, and we're all going to have to work on it. But when a problem comes up or a miscommunication, a faltering of some kind, we have to see these things as blessings in disguise. Similar to when you get a negative review about your coffee shop, you ask yourself the question, is there any truth in that? Sometimes we hate those reviews because we know there's a little truth in it, and we just kind of explain it away. Or we say, well, what do they know about being a small business owner? Or, what do they know about coffee and stuff? And all the while in the back of our head, we're kind of like, yeah, I mean, I know what they're talking about. So we kind of give the game away there a little bit. When problems come up in the coffee shop, it makes us have to face the thing that we already knew existed in the shop, and that is imperfections. And imperfections will always be there. But just like we talked about with our guest, Frank Law, who is the U.S. barista champion now of Be Bright Coffee in L.A., he has this relentless pursuit of perfection. And it's not to say this makes me miserable or it's not living in reality. It's actually a humble approach to refinement and focusing and studying on the things that you set your mind and your hands to. And that includes gaining understanding. If you want to be an artist with anything, paint or milk or coffee, you have to understand your medium, and understanding is what creates better art in the future. And so when it comes to what owners do, owners are artists in a sense, craftspeople. Just like we mentioned, the craft of operations, this includes our communication. It includes how we manifest solutions for problems that come up in the cafe that may be made manifest by people. And we often do waste problems in the coffee shop, and we often are guilty of wasting problems by immediately just reacting to them and burying them under a mountain of blame, avoidance, denial, and then they just get worse and worse and worse. It's kind of like not taking a shower, but just continuing to put on another layer of deodorant. It's not, eventually, you're just going to have to face the music, man. You're just going to have to take a shower. It's the way it works. So in the cafe, the thing that creates the momentum, the life, the vibrancy, the magnetism, all of that stuff in the cafe is how we respond to what the cafe reveals to us. And if we live in that denial and blame and avoidance, rather than acceptance, focus, and cultivating solutions around the blessing that these problems can be if treated that way, then we're not going to realize the potential of our businesses. And that's a real shame. It's a real shame to know that there could have been this version of our cafe and our business, except that we were just kind of timid about approaching the less than convenient parts that, on the other side of it is the next level. We always talk about the next level, but often the inconvenience, the pain, and everything else is the gauntlet that we have to kind of go through in order to reach that level. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. What I do in consulting and coaching often is the kind of investigation, seeking to gain clarity and understanding, finding root causes, and then creating concrete next steps and helping and guiding people through those next steps in establishing systems, rhythms, curating culture, and so forth around what we discovered together. And that's something that you can do right now, I think, as a practice with or without a consultant. And so for this week's Shift Break, I'm challenging you to seek understanding We talk about slowing down your reaction time. Respond with curiosity and let it speak to you. Eventually, you will have the nuance that will allow you to approach the issue with a measured mind and create a solution that is actually going to serve you and your people very well. So those are my ponderings today. I really hope that you enjoyed this one and that it spoke to your situation. Let me know what you think. As always, you can reach out, Chris, Chris, at keystotheshop.com. Always love hearing from you all. Thank you for supporting the show. And as always, we'll see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.